my name is Lena and welcome back to my channel. In this week's video, we are finally going to be installing our kitchen countertops, which I am so jazzed about. I feel like I say that in every video, but truly it is such an exciting process to be at the point in a project where things really start to come together pretty quickly, and I feel like they snowball. And the effects of what you do is just so visual and impactful. Like literally installing countertops feels like such a major milestone in a kitchen renovation. Yeah, so I'm extremely thankful. We're like this much closer to getting a working kitchen sink. In our last video, you guys saw that we installed our kitchen sink, but installing countertops, we're getting there. We're getting dangerously close to being able to wash our dishes inside again. And you know what? I'm ready for it. So yeah, I wanted to actually talk a little bit about what we're actually going to be installing for our countertops. I feel like there's a lot of different ways that we could have gone about like what it could look like and what we could have chosen, but ultimately there were a few things that we had in mind that were top of mind for us whenever choosing the material. And the first of which, if it's not already obvious, I feel like we talk a lot about this when we design our spaces. Budget is a very big thing. We are doing all of the work ourselves, we're paying for all of this ourselves, and things are expensive. That said, whenever we design spaces, we don't want to break the bank. So when it comes to countertops, I feel like people typically think of stone countertops, like where you go to like a slab yard and you buy a slab, but honestly, that is a very expensive investment. For us personally, at this point in time, it doesn't really make sense for us to spend that much on countertops. It just doesn't fit in our budget. So being extremely realistic with ourselves, stone was not on the table for us. And it's really crazy because our first exposure to how expensive stone is whenever we purchased an offcut. So literally not like a lot. It was literally like 2 feet by 4 feet or something for our bathroom vanity, like where our sink went. In our bathroom renovation project that we did. That piece, that one offcut cost hundreds of dollars for that small piece of stone. And I just feel like that's really expensive. And based on research that we've done, like it just doesn't, the math is not mathing, as the kids say. So we ultimately decided to go with Butcher Block Countertops. The reason for that is obviously, like I said, budget. It's significantly cheaper than stone is. Also, it's like a lot more accessible than you think it is. Like literally you can drive to your nearest big box hardware store and purchase Butcher Block right off the shelves. That's incredible. You could buy it and easily, cut it, seal it, install it yourself with a little bit of, internet sleuthing and research on how to do that. So it's just a lot more approachable in my opinion. The barrier to entry for DIYers tackling a kitchen renovation is just a lot. It's just a lot more approachable. But yeah, that said, I just wanted to kind of explain the logic behind why we are doing Butcher Block. And not only that too, but we made this decision without sacrificing the design, right? Like I feel like whenever you are planning for your own home renovation projects, like you have to do whatever makes sense to you personally in your household and your project financially. But you don't have to sacrifice the design just because budget and design go hand in hand, but you don't have to sacrifice the design. Anyways, I just kind of wanted to touch base about what exactly we're going to be putting on top of our beautiful new cabinet lowers that we installed in our last video. So yeah, let's go ahead and start installing.
Hello everybody. So it is yet another new day. I've done a full day of work and I finally have gotten off and now I have time to actually work on these countertops. I'm super enthusiastic to do this because I'm just so excited to see the whole kitchen come together. So last time we had talked, I actually showed you my process of trying to install this countertop on top of these cabinets. So this is actually where our cooktop is going to go. And I realized last time that our countertops actually aren't exactly 96 inches. They're actually sold as 98 inches. I guess they leave an inch on both sides in case it needs to overhang the counter or the cabinet maybe. I don't know. But regardless, I need to cut this countertop down and fit it into place. And then I want to see how everything else fits together. And then I'm going to start making cutouts for the cooktop and also for our farmhouse sink. I actually got to cut one of these 2x4s, probably not this one because it's warped, probably this one, and put it along the back. It's like 1 3/4 inches. The tough part is that the wall warps, so I'm not actually sure how to do it. It can actually come back a little bit. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to cut this beadboard so it'll fit a little closer right here because this is one of the points where it gets stuck. Yeah, I think this is the best I can do. I feel like it's nice that I slid it back more. Now it's not sticking out as much. It's very nice. Really happy with the way it looks. Okay, so after all of that prep work and all of that careful cutting, it's still not 100% perfect. So you can see in the corners, the last part that I had to cut with the multi-tool is a little ugly. And then the transitions to the rounded pieces aren't exactly perfect. They're pretty close, but they're not exactly there. And then on this side, it's a little worse, but it's nothing that we can't solve with a little bit of sandpaper. This is actually why I cut it a little short, because I just wanted to make sure I could actually fix these issues later on down the road. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out the belt sander and get rid of these problems.
Hello everyone. So at this point, Tyler and I have been working pretty tirelessly to prepare our butcher block, and by prepare I mean measuring and cutting. As you see behind me, the sinkhole has been cut. We've gone ahead and pre-drilled our pocket hole screws, and we're pretty much at the point now where we are ready to seal the underside of the butcher block. And I wanted to sit down and talk a little bit about what we're using to seal our butcher block. As you may or may not be familiar with, there are a ton of products on the market, and we did our fair share of research trying to determine what would work best for us. You know, we had a few things in mind that we wanted to be conscious of. Obviously, we wanted it to be water resistant, and we wanted it to be, we acknowledged that during the curing time, some products are super smelly. Specifically, I am pretty sensitive to VOCs, and like even in terms of like paint, whenever we use like Kills paint, I usually get a headache from the smell. Even if we try to like seal off the area, since we live in the house, it would just be hard for us to have such a long cure time and have such a strong smell, which a lot of people associate with water locks. So yeah, we were thinking about water, we were thinking about smell, we were thinking about durability. With Butcher Block countertops, obviously wear and tear is normal since it's wood, and we understand that. So we tried to find like the right product that would be best for touching it up over the years. We are huge cookers, so we are definitely going to be using these countertops on the daily. So that was something we kept in mind, because things like waxes or again like water locks, like the touch-up process is a little more of an effort to clean it up. With all that being said, we ultimately landed on this product, which is the Milk Paint Dark Half Tongue Oil with citrus solvent already in it. Normally, I believe it's sold separately, but in this one it's already combined. And the reason we decided to use this product is because we watched quite a few videos and read a few articles about how it's food safe and it does not have, you know, that smell that I talked about when curing. It is something that, you know, we're gonna have to apply, and it'll have to cure for like 30 days, but you're still able to use your countertops when, you know, or when, not if, you need to touch up your countertops. It is less of a big deal. You can just sand it down a little bit and then apply more of this in a couple of years. Specifically, this color we chose because we saw a video where someone used this same exact product with the same exact type of wood, which is birch wood, and we absolutely loved it. So that's why we decided to use this product. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and apply this product underneath the underside of these butcher blocks and then also on the sides. And then once that is done, we're then going to go ahead and screw the things together and then apply the butcher block to the counters. And by apply, I mean install. So yeah, that is what we have on the docket. And by the end of this, we will have our countertops installed. So I'm excited. Let's get to it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry. I went ahead and put a coat on there. I just wanted to dry enough so that we can go ahead and drill everything together. Because it is the underside, we don't really care as much if, you know, something happens. As long as it's covered and it'll dry in due time, we'll be a little careful. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's let it dry and then we'll come back and screw it all together.
All right, so now we got this thing all screwed together. We put a ton of pocket screws under it, so I don't really think it's going anywhere. The surface seems really nice and flush, and it seems very smooth right now. So I'm hoping that it'll all just sand out and look perfect. With that being done, I think our next step is really just to put it in place and hope that our measurements were right, because Elena and I actually second-guessed them for a while. Let's do it. This is gonna get really stupid really fast. Are you prepared for what's going to happen? I'm gonna go under this. All right, let's do it.
All right, now that we have fully secured together the countertops and moved it into place, that entire fiasco was probably the hardest part. I'm really glad it was over, but it was not as intimidating as I thought it'd be. My big concern was like, how are just the two of us gonna move it? But I think we did a really good job of doing it in stages, which took some careful planning. But yeah, so we went ahead and did the two and then attached the third, because total we had three Butcher Block pieces. We attached the third, and then Tyler also went ahead and added some additional brackets underneath just to kind of keep it more stable. Obviously, like what he did, attached the Butcher Block together, and then the brackets attached it to the cabinets. So now that that has been done, we went ahead and looked at where we want our kitchen faucet to go, and he's probably, I don't think he's done it yet, he's going to mark out where he wants to cut it. Now that we've agreed on where we want it to go, he's going to go ahead and mark it out, and then at the same time I'm going to be sanding the entire thing with 220 sandpaper. And after all of that is done, we're going to be wiping it down and oiling it using the same tongue oil and citrus solvent that I use on the underside. So yeah, that is what we have in store for the rest of our day. We're pretty tired at this point. It is 5:30. We've been at this all day, but I'm super enthusiastic. We've been talking about doing this for so long, so this is major progress. Let's go ahead and get to it.
And with all of that prep, we now have our cooktop actually cut out. So this left a very, very large hole in our Butcher Block countertop. And actually, we're thinking about turning this scrap piece into a cutting board, or two, or maybe even three. It's kind of large. But I'm really happy with the way this turned out. It came out really clean, and it looks really, really nice and really professional. So with that, I think that's the end of my night, so I think I'm gonna stop working here and come back to this tomorrow.
Okay, I just finished sanding the remainder of the countertops, and I used the vacuum to clean off the surface, and I'm now going to take a microfiber towel that's dry and wipe it before I begin applying the tongue oil after. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Okay, now that my countertops are all cleaned, I've wiped them down with my microfiber cloth and then I vacuumed them again. They're super clean. So I have my oil in a plastic cup and I have an old t-shirt that I cut up and I plan on just dipping it and rubbing it. We plan on doing multiple coats of this. I think tonight we'll probably do one, again, another one tomorrow, maybe another the next day, we'll see. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this on there and then after this I'm gonna call it a night, so let's do it. All right, and with that, I am completely done putting the oil on the countertops. I used the remainder of what was in my cup to go back around and just apply a little extra. That way we don't have to pour this back into the bottle. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way that this turned out. The way that this oil works is the wood like soaks it in. That's why people talk about it like looking dry over the years. That's why you need to like go back and re-oil it. But I'm also beat. It is the end of a very long day. It's now almost 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. We are ordering takeout tonight and I am very pumped. I will see you guys in the morning. Okay, editing Lena here with a very quick note about these countertops. So what I ended up doing was I let the 2 coats that I put on dry overnight, and then first thing in the morning I went in and I put a very generous 3rd coat on. I ended up actually ditching the cup completely, the little cup that I was using, and I just poured straight from the gallon straight onto the countertops. I think I was using the cup at first because my only experience putting something on wood like that is from staining wood with like an oil or water-based stain, or even applying like a clear coat like a polyacrylic or something, or like a polyurethane. But using tung oil is nothing like that. It is extremely, extremely friendly. It's not stressful. It doesn't leave streaks, so it's very forgiving. And honestly, like it soaks up the tung oil like crazy, and it's not streaky. It's very even. That is why I ditched the cup. And I ended up putting, like I said, a 3rd coat on the next morning, and then I would wait a couple of hours, and I'd do another coat, wait a couple hours, and do another coat. So I did several coats over the course of the next day, and we pretty much just stayed out of the kitchen just to like give it space to, obviously it takes 30 days to dry, but just to kind of give it some time before we moved on to the next step. I didn't end up filming any of that. That's just because I feel like it gets kind of repetitive if I do the same thing, but the next footage that you will see is us installing our kitchen faucet.
So nice. What is that noise?
Cleanse it.
Glenn, what's going on with you? You're biting it? I'm jazzed. I'm jazzed about it. It's so cool. We can wash dishes. Wow. Never thought we'd get here where we could actually wash a dish without using a garden hose.
It's awesome.
I'm so proud of us.